Hello. The game is Soulstone Survivors. I just bought this. I was looking around, and I just kind of was looking around Steam Shop, and I seen it. It was 10 bucks. I bought it on December 4th. As I'm recording this, it's December 10th, so I played it a little bit. I have roughly, I got 21.7 hours in it. You know, I got half the achievements done. So I've played a pretty good amount, I think. Um, Good enough to where I think I could do a video. So this video is going to be like kind of, I guess, a review. I don't do reviews. I do more overviews. A review overview and some gameplay. Basically, I just want to show you the game. So I don't know what that's called. I also don't know what this genre is called. I've heard it called several different things. I started playing Vampire Survivor. Love Vampire Survivor. It was $3. This is 10 bucks, so a little jump up. However, I feel like it's really worth it because this kind of gives you more of a modern. This is the most modern take on that genre. I'm just gonna call it the Survivor genre. There's 3 games that I know about. So one's a mobile game that I think Vampire Survivor was kind of based off of. Vampire Survivor is what turned me on to this genre. And now we have this, which is Soulstone Survivor. So I'm gonna call this Survivor genre. That's what I'm gonna call it. Where you get your abilities, you just go nuts with your abilities, and you build up your character's power. This one has a little bit more than Vampire Survivor, where you're unlocking maps and some things. Same similar situation, right? You have achievements to unlock stuff, right? So you got characters that you can unlock with achievements, weapons that you can unlock just by getting them to a certain level, and then crafting them with the crafting material up here. Skills, this is kind of unique. Well, no, I guess Vampire Survivor is similar, but it's a lot more skills. And you're not really combining skills together like in Vampire Survivor. You're just unlocking them. They're kind of tied to classes a little bit. So like if you look at a character, let's pick this guy. He has Arcane, Chaos, Nature, Fire, Electric, Shadow, and Holy type. So he'll have a whole slew of skills, but only of those types. So, yeah, where if you go over to a Barbarian, he's going to have some swing, some thrust, some slams, which are probably going to be more physical. And, yeah, I was down here, you can see swing, area, and physical. So these modifiers, when you get like power-ups, you'll have choices like, do you want to buff your physical? Do you want to buff your area? So it kind of like gives it that layer when you're building your character. Do I want to like have all projectiles? Do I want to have all area effect? Do I want to have all physical? And then you can try to buff that and kind of, you know, synergize a little bit. So it gives it that nice little bit of build flavor, so you can try to synergize. It has a very minimalistic skill tree. I just maxed it out, right? So after 20 hours, I had enough currency and these little stones that you get from killing the bosses to max all them out. I got 5 runes, which I think I can increase this. And if I'm looking at this, you see how it has these extra borders? I'm assuming as I progress, these borders will open up on the skill tree. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know this stuff yet. I'm not like an expert in this game. I just started playing it. But I'm thinking maybe the skill tree will expand out to this whole area. And I'll be able to use more of it. One of the reasons why I think that is because I have no use for these minor soulstones right now. Absolutely no use for them. So, and they seem to be a pretty big thing. So I'm assuming this builds out. Runes, you unlock these through achievements as well. To give you an example, like this one's a really good one. So on my Barbarian, I can select this one, right? And it'll add 6 skills from projectile. So you have active skills like abilities and passive skills which buff your abilities. And like this one will allow me to have like rain of arrows, which I think is really good. The I don't know what they're called, the crossbows that are like turrets that get placed down. So I really like this one. I use this a lot to buff up other characters. Going back to the characters, I don't have them all unlocked. You start out with Barbarian, of course, and you get him to... actually, I don't remember how you unlock these, but eventually you just start... You unlock the first few very quick. I forget how it was, but you just have to get like a certain level or beat the map in a certain time, and then you start unlocking these. And as you go in, the requirements get a little more strict, right? Went up to tier 4 of all curses. Show you what that means. So when you go into the maps, right, you have 5 different maps, and you unlock them just by playing them. But you have these curses. So far I've only done 3 curses on this map, so I'm only 75% complete. Because it says here, to get to round 2, you have to have the map completed with 4 curses. I've only done 3, so technically I should have just done that, busted it out with 3, then I would have been on tier 2. And then tier 3 to unlock, you have 10 curses. And then tier 4, you have to have 18 curses on. So it just gets insanely more difficult. But so you have to have 18 curses, unlock a map, and then you can get that character who said, win a match with all curses on Whispering Grove, right? So that's how you get this guy. Some pretty cool looking characters. I like the art style. I like this type of art style. It reminds me of Portal Knights a little bit, actually. My kid he liked Vampire Survivors as well. Him and I play together. I'll get into that later. But he really liked the art style. He's like, wow, this is such an improvement. This is, he was so hyped about it because it does give a little bit more RPG, more of a modern game type, with all the different skills and runes. It does give it a little bit more modern take, right? Everything's pretty clearly laid out if you just read the skills as you get into it. So let me go into a game. I'm going to select Barbarian. Maybe I should do something different. I just unlocked this guy. I wasn't too impressed with him. Wasn't too impressed with him. I love this guy and this guy. One of these guys unlocked this rune that allowed projectiles. And I don't know which one it was, but man, I love that rune because their abilities are awesome, the projectile abilities. And I can now go on a Barbarian and have projectile, which I love. So let me set my runes up for my Barbarian. So let's see. Yeah, okay, it's still on that character, that's why. So select your character, go over to runes, double check I got what I want. There's my 6 random skills from projectiles. Start the game. Alright, so I only have 5 rune points, so you gotta watch what you select out of here. The runes cost power. I only have 5 power, so you gotta kind of figure that out. Oh, what's this? Adds up to 6 active skill types of chaos. Oh, I just unlocked that. So now I can do chaos, which means a character. I like the golems, which are chaos. Barbarian has chaos naturally, but that'll let me go to, like, he has chaos, like that'll let me go to this guy and I'll be able to use golems on him as well. But most of the characters I've noticed have chaos. Yeah, except for like these holy knights are the only ones that don't have chaos abilities. It's kind of like roleplay. Anyway, let me get into a fight. So I got him all set up. I hit fight. I want to bust out one of these with some curses. Let me just do this one because I haven't done any of them yet. I'm just gonna do all 4. I was scared of this one. Every time you kill an enemy, there's a 10% chance of meteor falling near your position. It means I'm gonna be dashing a lot. So in this game, there is no stand still challenge. There's dashes, which kind of make it unique. Honestly, I miss being able to just stand still. But see the dashes? See these little dots under my thing? That's just how many dashes I can use. So you start off pretty weak, right? So I got this whirlwind that just spins, right? You don't do it yourself. It's completely activated just like Vampire Survivor, but it does show you the cooldown like it was actual skill, like in, like in an MMO or something, but you don't have to push the button. It just automatically does it. Now when you level up, 2 things can happen. You'll either get a passive skill selection like this or an active skill selection. If you get an active skill selection, you can go, nah, let me see what you got for passives. So that way when you get your bars all the way filled up, I'll show you that later. Anyway, this is passive. They go in rarities, very common MMO rarities. White is common, green is uncommon, blues are rare, purples are epic, oranges are legendary, so very like Diablo-esque colors. Basically just means this is double power, right? Or triple power. Epic is quadruple power. Uniques would be like 5 times the power. You'll see that. Multicast, right? So it's how the chance that this skill has a chance to cast twice when it casts. Very important. It's only 16%, but that's a very nice one. That's why it's epic. But when I see these, you have a 100% chance to do a critical strike or 100% chance to add a debuff. I usually grab them because they don't come up much. So while I do like this multicast and it is more powerful, it affects all your skills, I'm going to grab this one. Now I'm critting on first hit on everything. Eventually, you will get your crit up, right? So eventually you're going to get that to 100%. That skill will no longer matter. Very helpful getting there, though. So I'll go ahead and take that, because it's just gonna... I can just sit here and have a sip of my coffee real quick. This is actually like Vampire Survivors. Did you see the meteorite fall? Everything that can hit you, like Vampire Survivors, is mostly like if they touch you. Let me turn this down a little bit. This things can hit you, and you'll have splots, right? See the splots, and you gotta get out of the area within that time frame. So here we go. Because I have the 6 extra projectile skills, I now have a projectile active skill. So I got to pick from one of these active skills. I have the ability to re-roll or banish just any of these. Once you have your bars filled up, you'll have an option down here to say, nah, I don't want this. But ballistas, I found these are very nice. I love anything that is automatic. I don't want to have to target. I don't want to use my mouse. There's a lot of frontal and target and projectiles that go based on the direction of your mouse. I'm very, in Vampire Survivor, if you go back in my videos, you'll see I'm very, anything that I don't have to actively do anything with. So these are passives again, right? So increase the area of my whirlwind by 30%, or increase the damage of my ballistas. So ballistas, I'm just gonna knock them up in damage. Here's where you get the resources out of these little things. And they just spawn randomly. So if you just see them, just make sure you knock them and collect them. These guys will start casting stuff at you. More harder guys. That's how you heal. They'll randomly come up. Increase damage of my ballistas again. So I'm gonna grab that. But you see how this is a common power? These are uncommon. So it's like, it's 30%, but it's only affecting one skill versus something that can affect all your skills. Multicast chance by 8%. But ballistas are very powerful, I think, so I don't mind bumping them up. So now we got an active ability. What do I want out of this? Increase your cast frequency by 10%. And an extra 1% for each stack of bleed or hemorrhage. Never seen that ability before. Increase your cast frequency by 10%. And an extra 1% for each stack of bleed. Oh, it can't exceed 200%. I was gonna say you could get some pretty good amount of mobs on your screen, so that could really stack. So that's saying basically you can get 200% cast frequency. That'll just make your skills go crazy. Only thing is, I found cast frequency isn't that great for ballistas and golems, because they're any kind of thing that you set down, because it'll get to a point where it's so fast you're just despawning them and respawning them, and I don't have time to do damage. But that would be great for active skills if I didn't get golems or ballistas. That's interesting. I've never seen that one before. What is that? Swing empowering? Maybe I unlocked that. I must have unlocked that one of my last achievements. I never seen that one. Let's go with that. To clear the map, you got to kill 5 bosses. To spawn the bosses, you have to kill 400, and this is your counter. It'll keep moving up as you kill each boss. These are your little runes down here, just showing you. This is, I have 2 chances not to die, right? So if I die, this will revive me twice. It's kind of like a Vampire Survivor. This is just your dash. This is where your abilities show. And then this are your little buffs that you get, right? So like your damage is increased. You have a 30% chance to freeze them. All these little buffs are crazy. This whole area will get stacked up with these. And it can get a little overwhelming. So if you put your mouse down here to target something, it's gonna have like this big box blocking your view. You could go into settings and you can turn those tooltips off so that did I turn them off? You could turn them off so that they don't show. They show now, but when I'm in game, see, they won't show. So if you want to look at them, you have to do that. I like them off, just because I want to look at them when nothing's attacking me anyway. So I'll just hit escape, put up the pause menu, and look at them. So I would suggest leaving them off. Also, which I might have the graph, so you can turn the special effects down. So I had this down already from the last time I played. I'll turn it back up because you haven't even seen the color of the abilities yet, right? Like, see how my spin is different? Now I can see the big purple thing coming down on the AoE. So when you get going on this, there's monsters all over the place. Your abilities are just almost blinding. You can't see anything. You pretty much have to turn it down. These, depending on your build, if you have like a what do you call these, a curse stacking type build, these are good, but just generally these are the ones I banish because I don't want them popping up unless I'm trying to build that. I can't help but give you guys tips. Like, this isn't a tips and tricks video, but I just can't help it. It's gonna make this video so long. Anyway, these are nice. 20% damage, but it gives you 10% movement speed debuffs. These are nice because a lot of times you'll have not much of a good choice except for maybe like a 10 or 20% speed buff. Just keep that in mind when you take that later on, you'll probably, when you don't have a great choice, you can spend it on this. But with that said, critical chance multiplier, you need these. So if you don't have really anything great, like I don't have a lot of speed right now, so I don't want this. Armor, meh. Get your crit up. Get your crit up first, because you can get to 100%, but if you're not actively working on getting your crit up, you'll never get there. It'll take a long time to get there. So what I do, my general rule of thumb is I weigh the crit chance one level higher. So it was a common, in my mind it's a green. Also, the pickup radius for these little experience crystals or whatever, I'll grab them as well, because they give you a 10% increase in how much experience you get, plus the pickup radius, which is, you need that anyway. It's the, let me read this and I'll explain it. Increase the potential scent of blood. So that buffs that potential. Damage increase of swing abilities. So that'll be whirlwind and scent of blood. Ooh, okay. Potential. So this one actually, so this one gives 45, but that one gives 30 plus 30 to everything else. So I'm gonna grab that. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, the pickup radius. So you want to front load that. So well, I'll talk about that when it comes up. I'm all over the place here. So let's see, Bladestorm. Ooh, this one was nice. I didn't realize how nice this was until my last game when I was playing. This thing did so much damage. It's similar, see how... So there's my... Is that Bladestorm? Or, let's see. Here goes Bladestorm. That's Bladestorm. You get radius on that, and it fills up the whole screen. I didn't realize how awesome that was. So this one, Magnetic. Increase your experience by 10% and gives you 50% pickup radius. Do I want that over this rare? Probably not, but if I had other commons or uncommon, I would probably take that. But this is important, not only just for the pickup rate. Eventually you'll pick up everything. You won't even see these crystals anymore. You'll get so much of this stuff. But what it's important for is that 10% modifier. Makes you level faster, gives you more choices, gives you more stuff. On top of that, when you level, is the only time you can heal later in the game. So when you take damage, there's nothing you can do to heal except level up. And that's one tip for you. This is important late game as well as early game to help you level up quicker. But I want to work on this scent of blood. I haven't seen that before, so I want to take that one since it's such a higher power. So here's a boss, right? So it has a boss bar. First one's usually very easy. Fire shield's not really, doesn't do much. I would never get that. Matter of fact, here I'm just gonna banish you. Critical chance is always good. Speed, if there's nothing else, speed's always good because you can take that later. If I took this 10% speed, yeah, it helps me move around. Not that big of a deal. I got dashes, but I could trade that off for a 20% damage buff for everything later. Increases the area modifier of your swings by 30%. So I'm gonna go with that. Those two swings that swung around, I want them to do full screen. So the bigger they are, the better. Actually, last game, I thought this one, so I might actually replace this little swing. It did okay damage, but if I see something I like better, I might replace it. Directly in front of you as aiming. This is random. Shadow spikes. I'll go with shadow spikes for now. I might keep them, I might not. These little crystals the bosses drop, that gives you some experience. It also gives you crafting material. So that's how you get the crafting material. You gotta farm these bosses. And you can go into infinity modes where you're just farming bosses that get progressively harder and harder. Increase your damage modifier by 10, gives you 5. Cast frequency, I'm gonna banish this guy because I don't want him. See if I get anything. I got some block, which is crappy. I'm gonna re-roll this one. Increase your cast frequency by 10 across the board. I'll grab it. Here we go. Legendary power. Increase the area modifier of all your physical. And this is why I like Barbarian. Look down here. See all these? Watch them glow. Boo! Boo! So it tells you here what it will affect, but also if you highlight over it, it'll just glow on the abilities that it takes care of. So all my abilities are physical on this guy. So this is great. So all my abilities are going to have a 50% area modifier increase now. What do I want? Do I want to... So now, see how it says replaces with passive? That's because my bar is full. So if I don't want any of these, fire 7, summons a dark vortex, launches an orb, fires... Yeah, so I don't want any of them. I don't think any of them are better, so I'm just going to go to passive. All your attacks have 40% chance of slow. Goodbye. Health is good if you're going deep, because things start hitting you hard. So you need to start working on your defenses at some point. In the beginning, just dodge everything. Increase your multicast, increase your critical damage. Now, one thing I learned, eventually you will get 100% critical damage. So right now I'm only probably at 20% or something, so this isn't that great. But when you're looking at this, if you have 100% critical damage, that's basically 12% damage increase later on down the road. So when I don't have a lot of great choices, I'll pick this over anything else, because I know eventually I'll have 100% critical chance. So this is like a helping me out down the road kind of choice if I have nothing better that I want. I am going to go with multicast here, since I got a lot of... I only got Ballista, and I might not take Golem. I don't know. Increase your multicast chance. Multicast is always great. I don't know of a single downside to that, so I'm going to do that. I would maybe just duration, but I can't not pick that epic power. Those epics are just epics and legendaries. Too good, can't pass up. You can see I'm critting a lot on these. What's my crit rate? 35 already? Got a little health stone up there if I need it. So multicast 4%, 10% speed bonus. Like I could trade that off for a 20% damage bonus later, but I'd rather just drop that on a critical damage modifier. It's going to help me later when I'm at 100%. Rain of Arrows is very good, but I don't think maybe I will. I like it because you can get that thing to cover the whole screen, casting fast, and it stuns for 3 seconds, which they'll just sit there. They just won't move for 3 seconds. You don't really control it, though. Mines are nice. Minefield. You can fill this whole screen up with just mines if you want to, just as you kind of like walk in circles later on. I'll show you some video clips at the end of this video where I was doing high-level stuff. I'm just going to get through this one real quick. Kind of give you an idea how it plays out, right? And then I'll show you some of the stuff where I was like, I took some video of, where I was getting high-level craziness. I might want that over Shadow Spikes, though. It will do more damage, I think, than those Shadow Spikes will. The only thing I don't like about this is it has a relatively medium trigger radius, so it won't hit the things outside of my screen. And this Bladestorm is going to be rocking things outside of my screen. But it is nice, because when something breaks through, it'll trigger, land on them, because there's nothing else for it to land on. Because see how it says at a random enemy's location, but if you only have one enemy or one group of enemies that break through, it's going to land on them. So it's almost like a protective measure. Boom, it'll hit them, stun them, do extra damage to them. Yeah, let me do that. Let me replace that. So you click on what you want, you can cancel. You click on what you want and just click on one of these to replace. Actually, stomp on the ground. Yeah, that's right in front of me, which is kind of useless. So it has less, and it's not useless, it just has less of a range. See, the build I'm thinking is going to keep things more off. So I'm going to go ahead and replace stomp with that. It's good to always have at least one stun ability. I did do a build where I was just stacking stuns. It was okay, but it didn't make as big a difference as you might think. So get that blood scent going. What was blood scent again? Oh, cast frequency. Yeah, cast frequency is going to be killer on that. So I'll just be triggering everything constantly, double casting, triple casting. Bladestorm, I'm going to go with that because that, honestly, that surprised me. Like, these chaos golems, it's funny because I was just going to say the chaos golems. These chaos golems are pretty damaging. The ballistas are pretty damaging. The totems that you can get are pretty damaging. These are all like, all the totem type physical things other than abilities are all pretty damaging. They're pretty well done. I guess to make up for the fact that you can't control them. I think I'm going to take him over to Shadow Spikes though. So let me replace those Shadow Spikes. And this might be my build. I might change it later if my cast speed, because of the scent of blood, gets too high. It'll just constantly cast golems. Like watch, well, I'll show you later when the golems are cast. But the golems are great because look, monsters will actually go to them instead of you. They don't care. They see that golem as another player, and if that golem's closer than you are, it'll go to your golem. So you can have a lot of golems, and they'll just go over to the golems. Let's see if your area type spells. Oh, I got a lot of them. So golems are great defensive wise. Even bosses, they'll sit there and tank the bosses for you. They'll tank 4 bosses for you, right? You'll have multiple golems tanking multiple bosses, and you're just kind of running around. So for survivability, golems are completely awesome. And let me re-roll this because I got all commons. Increase the duration of scent of blood. There we go. And they're pretty damaging. And I can't have bloodlust well. And you see the AoE they do? You can actually increase the size of that. I had one build, the AoE was like this much of the screen from one golem. It was ridiculous. Alright, let me figure out what I want to pick here. Chaos or Whirlwind. I'm going to go with Chaos. So I just had somebody stop in, wanted to say hello. Come up to the mic. So I got my son, bought him a copy, he's played it. One of the downsides to this is there's no multiplayer, same with Vampire Survivors, but he was really into it for a bit. Tell me, what do you think about the game? Was it better than Vampire Survivor?
Yes.
In what way?
Every way.
In every way? So there was nothing Vampire Survivor did better than Soulstone Survivor?
Yeah.
You think so? What do you like more about Soulstone?
There's more chaos.
More chaos? Do you like the graphical upgrade better as well?
Yeah.
Than the more pixelated stuff?
Yes.
Alright. What was your favorite part about this game?
The more chaos.
Just chaos, just like abilities flying off everywhere?
Yeah.
Alright, so there you go. From a boy's perspective, he likes it better. Just it's an upgrade from his perspective. Me, I see the quality of both. I see pros and cons to both. I miss being able to just chill. Let me go with passive. Sorry, it's hard for me to like try to decide while I'm trying to talk. Cast frequency, scent of blood. I do miss being able to like just chill. The splotches get crazy, right? Like right now I can chill, but the splotches in this game do get crazy. They'll just be all over the board. You'll see later in other videos that I post. This was before I learned that you could turn the graphics down. And I was just like, I couldn't see anything. All I knew is just keep dashing, don't stop moving, or you'll mysteriously get hurt for some unknown reason. I could not see any of the splotches. My graphics, these are mines. I'm laying down mines. He's got the flame, turns the grounds into flame. I got all kinds of stuff. Arrows raining down. I can't see anything. Mobs are blowing up. I'm trying to keep track of where monsters are by where the explosions are coming from on my bombs, on my mines. So it just got really crazy here. Just wanted to throw this clip in and kind of show you how crazy you can get towards the end. Like 40 odd minutes into it here. But then I learned about the graphics. Let me show you that. In this clip, we're about 70 plus minutes into the game. I learned how to change the settings down. So necessity is the mother of invention. That's what they say, right? So when you need something is when you're going to start looking for a way to make it happen. And that's what I did. I looked into settings and I found that slider bar to turn the graphics down, and that helped a lot. But I didn't get the ending of this whole game on video because my NVIDIA recorder just bugged out from all the chaos. So unfortunately, it didn't go much longer than this. I think the next map or something like that, I died. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this gives you a full understanding of this game. Whether or not it's a game you might like, you might want to buy, or maybe not. Maybe you pass on it. But, just try to give you the full truth of a thing as best I know it. Some tips to help you out, some tricks to help you out. Keep in mind, my videos are supported by viewers and gamers like you. So please like the video. If you're not a subscriber, feel free to subscribe. Share the videos, word of mouth. That's the best way. YouTube doesn't favor small channels like myself. They don't push that. The algorithm doesn't push it like it would, like, an Asmon video or something like that, or somebody else. So if you like my style, long format, heavy on the detail type videos, make sure you send it along to other people who might. And I'll see everybody in the next video. As far as my channel, as far as where I'm at the end of my videos, I like to do this little talk, right? So just kind of give everybody an update. To the people who care, usually are the ones who stay to the end of the video. At least I think that's the way it works anyway. What I'm doing, I've been playing Embers Adrift. That's pretty fun. It's not flushed out yet, right? I'm nowhere near endgame. It's very grindy. I like that. It's very group PvE oriented, which I like. But I was looking around when I was searching around for just random stuff on sale on Steam, and I found this game. I was also searching around for other stuff, and I seen that there was a Dark Age of Camelot emulated server happening. It might already popped off today or something. It was like happening very soon. And I was like, oh yeah, Dark Age of Camelot. That was fun. That had really good grouping. I just want to find some like old school, you have to group together, very much like Embers Adrift kind of thing. I like that stuff. So I was looking, but I'm not that big on the realm versus realm. I'm not big on PvP, even though, in my opinion, Dark Age of Camelot has the best PvP of any game to date, other than like first-person shooters and such. And for any MMO, I should say, to be more specific. But then that led me down a rabbit hole, and I found out there was a Final Fantasy 11 emulator coming out on the 17th. It's Horizons, Final Fantasy 11 Horizons. Somebody's making a new emulator. It's like a classic Final Fantasy server. I guess it's kind of like pop-locked, I guess you could call it, in EQ terms. So it's like the first 3 expansions. I think it stops at like level 75. It's well beyond where I stopped playing Final Fantasy 11 back in 2004, I think is when I stopped. Before WoW, I started getting into WoW beta, and I realized WoW was going to be a huge success, and I really liked the game. So I was playing the beta, and then November in 2004 when WoW launched, I was in that. So, but I was before that I was doing Final Fantasy 11, and it was a really great grouping game. My only problem with it is there wasn't that many Americans at the time in the game. It already existed in Japan, and most of the players were Japanese, high level. So when you got ahead of the American wave of players that were still low level, and you start breaking into the higher levels, they didn't really want English speakers. It was just difficult to communicate, and they were a little prejudiced against it. So that's one of the reasons why I left and moved on to WoW as well. It was just hard to find groups, and at the end game, and I would have had to wait for other people to catch up. So I think I was a little bit ahead of my time back then, or ahead of the leveling curve for English speakers. But it didn't matter. WoW came out, and that's where I was for a while after that. So anyway, point being, I'm going to check that out on 17th. So if you're interested in Final Fantasy, check it out. If I like it, if I get addicted to it and stay with it, I'll probably drop Embers Adrift for a bit and stick with the emulated server, see how that goes, because I did really enjoy playing that, and I felt like I left Final Fantasy XI very early, much earlier than I would have had not WoW came out, because I did really enjoy the group content in that game. I will feel like a noob though, because, you know, these emulated servers have like all the old hardcore players, people who played for 10 years and yada yada, so I'll be like an inexperienced noob running around kind of going, I remember that from 20 years ago. But that's kind of my plans. So maybe I'll have another Vampire Survivor. Maybe I'll have another one of these Soulstone Survivor videos. Maybe not. Maybe I'll do some more Embers of Drift if I stick with that. Maybe not. Or maybe you'll start seeing Final Fantasy 11. I hope I didn't say 14. Final Fantasy 11 videos coming out if I do that. But when I do an MMO like that, it usually eats up a lot of my time. I don't have much time to play other games. You know, my limited amount of game time just gets absorbed by time hog games like that. Anyway, again, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.